Good evening. We're going to call to order our special meeting, public hearing. At this time, we're going to ask our clerk to read the roll.
Boys.
Here.
Connor. Davis. DeShazier. Fusco.
Aye.
Garrett.
Present.
Hannah.
Here.
Hardy.
Here.
Kamer. Lombardo.
Aye.
McKittrick.
Aye.
Amobian.
Present.
And Somerville.
Aye.
All members are present except for Davis, DeShazier, and Kamer.
Okay. We do have 3 items up for public hearing, and our clerk will read in item number 1.
Notice is hereby given that the following open comment public hearing will be held by the Council of the City of Akron on Monday, March 25th, 2024, during the special council meeting at 5 p.m. Ordinance authorizing a conditional use to construct additional parking at 2330 Smith Road. This notice was advertised in the Akron Beacon Journal on March 9th and on the Akron City Council website beginning March 5th.
Mr. Antonucci?
Yes, thank you, Madam President, members of council. Alzheimer's Special Care Center Limited Partnership is seeking approval to legally establish the 2 existing parking lots west of the Loop Drive surrounding the Bath Manor facility. Because the parking lot is a retail use and not permitted in a residential district, a conditional use is required. The submitted site plan indicates that the current gravel lots would be graded as necessary and new asphalt would be laid, creating 22 parking spaces for the north and 18 for the south lot. Existing vegetation on the site would be preserved to the greatest extent possible, maintaining the visual screening from surrounding uses. Petitioner states that the lots would be utilized as additional overflow parking for both staff and guests. The 2 parking lots provide convenient staff and visitor access to the western portion of the facility. Provided that stormwater is controlled and collected in an acceptable manner, the planning staff is supportive of the request, and the planning staff and planning commission recommend approval subject to conditions. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to go ahead and open up our public hearing. Do we have anyone here in the audience who wishes to speak in favor or against item number 1? Anyone? Just going to ask that you stand at this time so that you may be sworn in by our law department. By our clerk. Thank you.
Would you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give will be the truth? If so, please say, I do.
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Chris Schmidt. I'm the civil engineer for the Project Data Resource Group. My address is 1310 Sharon Copley Road, Sharon Center, Ohio. I'm just here for the applicant, as Mr. Antonucci said in his report, which was well versed. He kind of covered everything. I'm just kind of here if anybody has any types of questions. I'd be happy to answer them for you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. If there's no one else wishing to speak in favor or against, we will close our public hearing. Councilman Fusco, what is the committee's pleasure?
I'd like to pull the committee for a favorable report with suspension of the rules. So, Connor? Boys?
Aye.
Hannah?
Aye.
Very good. The report of the committee is favorable, and we're asking for suspension of the rules.
Are there any objections to suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Yes, thank you. I know the ward council person has been engaged with this process with the planning department, this is a good neighbor to the neighborhood over there, and we're asking for passage this evening based on everyone's recommendations.
Thank you. Councilman Hardy, do you have any comments?
Nothing else to add other than I am supportive, and thank you so much for being such a good neighbor.
Okay. Thank you so much. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
This ordinance passes 10
Thank you very
to
much.
0.
You're welcome.
Notice is hereby given that the following open comment public hearing will be held by the Council of the City of Akron on Monday, March 25th, 2024, during the special council meeting at 5 p.m. Ordinance authorizing a conditional use to expand an auto salvage business at 1483 Triplet Boulevard. This notice was advertised in the Akron Beacon Journal on March 9th and on the Akron City Council website beginning March 5th.
Mr. Antonucci?
Thank you, Madam President, members of council. LKQ Corporation is proposing to lease this property for the dual use as a parking lot along Triplet Boulevard and as an access road from East Archwood Avenue. Since the proposed uses are accessory uses for the prior conditionally zoned auto salvage operation, any expansion requires conditional use approval. LKQ Corporation's facility, which encompasses a large area between East Archwood to the north and Triplet Boulevard to the south, dismantles end-of-life vehicles and retains parts for resale or processes unsellable parts to scrap and core uses. This long, narrow strip of land is sandwiched between property owned or leased by LKQ. Recently, the petitioner received City Council approval to expand their auto salvage business onto the former Goodyear Research site at 1480 East Archwood Avenue. The leasing of this strip of land will allow LKQ to consolidate operations while providing access to the former Goodyear site. While the buildings have not been demolished at the former Goodyear site, LKQ's environmental compliance team is working with the lessee and Ohio EPA for approval of the reuse plan with an anticipated April 2024 completion date. Petitioners also confirmed that the agreed-upon land donation to the Western Reserve Land Coalition to protect Haley's Run is near completion. The wider portion of the land that fronts Triplet Boulevard is the former Church's Coal property. Currently contains a small office building, tanks, and trailers. The petitioner will remove the blighted structures and redevelop the area into a paved parking area capable of housing 50 to 75 vehicles. The existing fencing will be extended parallel with Triplet Boulevard. The removal of the blighted structures will improve the aesthetics of the property along with providing needed parking spaces for employees and improving internal traffic flow. LKQ's Akron location currently has 210 employees with over $11 million in annual payroll. The planning staff is of the opinion that the new proposal is an appropriate land use and will allow LKQ to consolidate their operations. Planning staff and Planning Commission recommend approval, subject to conditions. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to open up our public hearing. Do we have anyone here that wishes to speak in favor or against item number 2? Thank you.
Could you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give will be the truth? If so, please say, I do. Thank you.
Thank you. And so we'll begin with those who wish to speak in favor.
Good evening. My name is Brian Baker. I am the general manager for the LKQ location in Akron, Ohio at 1435 Triplet Boulevard. We were in here a little over a year ago and was approved for an expansion onto the IRG property, which Paul will speak on. We are close to getting the ball rolling on that project, excuse me. Since then, we've been able to actually change from leasing Church Coal. It's going to be a purchase of what we're here for tonight. We're purchasing that strip of property, which will allow us to ease, as Mr. Antonucci said, ease the traffic of our own company with semis trying to get in and out around employee cars and just have, and a good example is my 25 delivery drivers have to move their delivery trucks and park where their truck is and then move their truck back. So, we're trying to improve the overall experience for our employees as well. So happy to answer any questions, and a special thank you to our councilwoman. She's amazing and has worked to help pull any levers we can to fix problems or complaints with the neighbors, and we've had very few, and she's been great helping, so we appreciate her.
All right, thank you.
Good evening. My name is Paul Harris. I'm the general manager for the IRG East End and Goodyear Properties. Thank you for allowing us to speak tonight. I'm here to support our friends from LKQ on the deal that we're working with them to expand their business. As most of you know, the site has been that type of business since about 1960. LKQ is a large worldwide company now, started their company here with the purchase of Triplet Auto back many years ago. So we're excited to help them with the next stage of this business as we transition the property from being used by Goodyear to LKQ. So thank you for appreciating everything. Councilwoman Connor, of course, very supportive, and it's a pleasure doing business. So thank you very much. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Thank you.
Good evening.
If there's no one else wishing to speak in favor or against, we will close our public hearing. Councilman Fusco, what is the committee's pleasure?
Will the committee for suspension of the rules with a favorable report? Connor? Aye. Boyce?
Aye.
Hannah?
Aye.
Yes, thank you. The report of the committee is favorable, and we're asking for suspension of the rules.
Are there any objections to suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Yes, thank you. I'd just like to yield all the comments to Sharon Connor.
Thank you, Chairman Fusco. LKQ, East End, and the people from Haley Run have worked very hard in collaboration to keep all three properties growing and thriving in the east side of Akron. We're so grateful for their work, their continued growth, and certainly their participation and cooperation with each other so that all needs are met.
Thank you. Any other further comments? Councilman Fusco? No? Okay, thank you. Rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
This ordinance passes 10-0. Notice is hereby given that the following open comment public hearing will be held by the Council of the City of Akron on Monday, March 25th, 2024, during the special council meeting at 5 p.m. Ordinance authorizing a conditional use to place an off-premises high-rise sign at 1570 Frederick Boulevard. This was advertised in the Akron Beacon Journal on March 9th and on the Akron City Council website beginning March 5th.
Mr. Antonucci?
Thank you, Madam President, members of council. Summit Toyota is requesting permission to install a new, larger high-rise digital changeable copy LED sign at this location to replace the original LED sign that was conditionally approved in 2012. As such, conditional use approval is needed for the new upgrade. The current high-rise sign is no longer functioning properly, and replacement parts are not available to repair it. Petitioner therefore intends to replace it with a new LED sign on the existing pole. The new sign has a viewable screen size of 19 feet in height by 22 feet in width for 418 square feet of area. The digital sign would be used to advertise only products sold at the petitioner's dealership on the opposite side of the highway. Over the past several years, the Planning Commission and City Council has approved LED billboards and high-rise signs in this vicinity along I-77. Most recently, Vanderveer Chevrolet received approval to replace its high-rise sign with a 423 square foot sign to a height of 70 feet. Although the upgrade to the proposed sign is an 86% increase over the original design, it is in keeping with the recent approvals and would lower the overall height by more than 16 feet. This heavily traveled interchange along I-77 with multiple car dealerships is important to the local economy. LED signs, when properly placed, can be an attractive use of current sign technology and are used to effectively promote businesses within the city. The larger sign will help increase the business's visibility and attract and guide both local and regional customers. The planning staff and planning commission recommend approval subject to conditions. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to open up our public hearing. Do we have anyone here that wishes to speak in favor or against? If you'll stand, thank you. Be sworn in.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give will be the truth? If so, please say, "I do."
I do.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Randy Snyder with Graphic Detail Incorporated. GDI is a local sign company based out of Kent, and we do a lot of work in the Summit County and surrounding counties and areas. We're here this evening representing Summit Toyota, as will be the company providing and installing the sign. And I want to thank everyone from previous meetings, Councilwoman Somerville, for your involvement and your support on this. And if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them at this time.
Okay, thank you so much. If there's no one else wishing to speak in favor or against, we will close our public hearing. Councilman Fusco, what's the committee's pleasure?
I'd like to pull the committee for a favorable report with suspension of the rules. Connor? Aye. Boyce?
Aye.
Hannah?
Aye.
Report of the committee is favorable, and we're asking for suspension of the rules.
Are there any objections to suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Yes, thank you. As mentioned, I know President Somerville is in support of this. This is located within her ward. There's 3 conditions that must be met as placed by the planning department, and with that, we're recommending approval this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. I just wanted to say I'm totally in support. I appreciate Graphic Detail Sign Company for reaching out. I also appreciate the owners of Summit Toyota for reaching out and having a conversation with me about the new project. I just want to thank you also just for your commitment to Akron. I know that you're expanding, you're bringing more jobs, and we just want to say thank you. So at this time, the rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
This ordinance passes 10-0.
Okay. If there's nothing else coming before this body at this time,
Motion to adjourn.
we have a motion to adjourn. If there are no objections, meeting adjourned.
Council will meet at 6:30 tonight. Thank you.